If you are over 50, over 60, or simply someone who has struggled with stubborn belly fat for far too long, then what I'm about to reveal may surprise you, because for years, people have been told that green tea is the miracle drink for weight loss. They've been told it boosts metabolism, melts fat, and shrinks the waistline. But here's the truth most wellness experts avoid saying out loud. For millions of older adults, green tea barely moves the needle at all. It works for some, but for many, especially those with slower metabolism, hormone shifts, or disrupted sleep, green tea does almost nothing. And this is why so many people drink cup after cup, thinking they're doing everything right. Yet the belly fat never changes. But then there is another drink. A nighttime drink. A drink that does not rely on caffeine, does not spike your heartbeat, and does not interfere with sleep. A drink that works with the body's natural overnight repair cycle. When your hormones reset, your digestion slows, and your fat-burning switches either activate or shut down entirely. And here's the shocking part. Most people have this ingredient in their kitchen right now, but they've never used it the correct way. This drink doesn't burn fat the way social media myths describe. Instead, it supports the two nighttime systems that control belly fat more than any exercise ever could: your sleep metabolism and your overnight hormonal balance. When the right compounds enter your body before sleep, they help support smoother digestion, lower evening inflammation, calmer nighttime cortisol, and more stable blood sugar. These four elements form the belly fat wall that stops older adults from losing weight, no matter how hard they diet during the day. The reason this drink is so powerful at night is simple, but rarely explained. Your body burns fat differently while you sleep than when you're awake. During the day, calories burn through movement, but at night, calories burn through hormonal resets, especially around the belly. If nighttime hormones fall out of balance, belly fat refuses to budge. And unfortunately, most people unknowingly sabotage this process every evening with the wrong foods, wrong drinks, and wrong timing. In fact, a 71-year-old woman named Claire from Toronto said she spent 8 years trying every diet imaginable: keto, low carb, intermittent fasting, detox teas. Nothing made her belly shrink, not even walking 3 miles a day. She assumed her age was the problem. But her nutritionist later explained something that changed everything. Claire wasn't eating wrong during the day. She was drinking the wrong thing at night. Her metabolism was shutting down the moment she fell asleep, trapping fat that should have been released. But when Claire replaced her nighttime habits with the drink you'll learn in this series, everything shifted. Her digestion felt calmer. Her bloating reduced. She woke up feeling lighter, clearer, and more energetic. The belly fat didn't melt overnight, but her body finally stopped fighting against her, and for the first time in years, the scale moved in the right direction. A similar transformation happened to Martin, a 65-year-old retired engineer living in Manchester. He had given up on losing fat around his midsection after decades of trying. He believed age had locked it in permanently, but his sleep was the real enemy. He woke up several times a night, his cortisol spiked, and his digestion slowed dramatically after sunset. Once he started drinking the nighttime drink we'll reveal in this series, his sleep deepened, he woke up feeling lighter, and his waistline began shrinking. Not because he starved himself, but because he finally supported his hormones during the one window nobody pays attention to: the 8 hours of fat-burning silence while you sleep. And perhaps the most compelling story comes from 73-year-old Lucia from Florence, Italy. She was never overweight in her youth, but as she entered her late 60s, belly fat appeared seemingly overnight. No diet touched it. No exercise helped. Her doctor explained that age changes nighttime metabolism more than daytime metabolism. The belly fat she struggled with wasn't caused by overeating. It was caused by nighttime blood sugar spikes and cortisol peaks. Once she added the right nighttime drink into her routine, she said her stomach felt relieved, as if her body could finally rest without inflammation locking everything in place. Over 3 months she lost inches, not because the drink burned fat, but because it supported the internal conditions required for fat to finally release. This is the key message. Fat loss begins at night, not during the day. If nighttime hormones remain out of balance, belly fat becomes the most stubborn and most resistant part of the body. But when nighttime rhythms support digestion, inflammation, blood sugar, and stress hormones, belly fat becomes far more responsive, even without extreme diets. So why do doctors and nutritionists across Europe, Canada, Australia, and the United States care so much about nighttime drinks? Because they directly influence 3 nighttime pathways that matter more than calories. Cortisol decline. If your stress hormone stays high at night, your belly will store fat instead of releasing it. Blood sugar stabilization. Evening glucose spikes trigger fat storage around the waist. Liver nighttime clearance. Your liver processes toxins and fats mostly while you sleep. Supporting it results in better morning metabolism. The drink we will reveal supports these natural processes gently and safely. It doesn't replace meals. It doesn't promise miracles. It simply works with the body at the exact time when belly fat is most vulnerable, nighttime. But before we unveil the drink itself, you must understand the hidden reason belly fat becomes so stubborn after 50. It has nothing to do with eating too much. It has nothing to do with moving too little. It has everything to do with metabolic slowdown that begins inside your hormones, not your stomach. As people age, their cortisol cycle shifts, their digestive enzymes decrease, their nighttime insulin sensitivity changes, and their internal clock becomes more sensitive to inflammation. These quiet shifts create the perfect storm known as sleep belly fat, a type of stubborn midsection fat that responds only when nighttime balance is restored. This is why green tea, despite all its hype, fails so many seniors. Green tea boosts alertness and daytime metabolism. It reduces some inflammation. It supports antioxidant pathways, but it does not support nighttime fat regulation. It contains caffeine, even in small amounts. It has compounds that stimulate rather than calm. It does not prepare the liver for nighttime detox. It does not lower cortisol before sleep. And most importantly, it does not influence the hormonal patterns responsible for storing belly fat during the night. But the drink we reveal in this series does exactly that. It calms, it balances, it hydrates, it supports overnight liver function, it settles evening digestion, it gently signals the body that it is safe to shift into fat release mode instead of fat storage mode. And this is why older adults, especially those over 50 or 60, feel the difference so quickly. They wake up with less bloating. Their stomach feels flatter. Their energy feels smoother. Their sleep feels deeper. Because when you support the body in the hours where belly fat decides its fate, everything aligns more naturally. This is not magic. This is not hype. This is how nighttime physiology works. What most people don't realize, especially those over 50, is that belly fat has very little to do with calories after a certain age. People blame bread, pasta, sweets, or slow metabolism. But the truth is far more specific, far more hormonal, and far more connected to the one part of your day everyone overlooks: your nighttime window. Belly fat after 50 is driven primarily by what your body is doing while you sleep, not what you're doing when you're awake. And the biggest influence of all is a single hormone that quietly controls how your belly stores or releases fat every night. That hormone is cortisol, your stress regulator, your inflammation signal, your internal alarm system. In youth, cortisol rises in the morning, gives you energy, then gently falls as evening approaches so your body can shift into rest, digestion, and fat-burning mode. But after age 50, that rhythm breaks. Cortisol doesn't fall the way it once did. It stays higher into the evening. It spikes at night. It wakes you up. It tightens your stomach. It slows digestion. And worst of all, it pushes fat toward the belly, because the belly contains the most cortisol-sensitive fat cells in the entire body. This is why so many older adults say, "I don't even eat much, but my stomach keeps growing." Because the issue isn't food, it's hormonal timing. When cortisol stays elevated in the evening, the body interprets nighttime as a threat instead of a period of recovery. And when the body feels threatened, even subtly, it stores fat instead of releasing it. This is the biological reason belly fat becomes resistant after 50. You're not failing. Your body is following a hormonal instruction you didn't even know was being sent. A perfect example comes from Margaret, a 62-year-old retired nurse in Edinburgh. She ate light, she walked daily, she took care of her health, yet her belly grew steadily throughout her 50s. Her doctor kept telling her to cut calories, but nothing changed. When she finally saw an endocrinology specialist, he explained that the real problem wasn't her food, it was her evening cortisol, which was consistently elevated. Her body was locking fat into place every night. Once she began supporting her nighttime hormones, the difference was immediate. Not dramatic overnight, but unmistakable. Her sleep deepened. Her cravings dropped. Her stomach softened. Her morning energy improved. It wasn't the food that changed. It was the hormone signal. Another case was Daniel, age 68, from Melbourne. He had always stayed active, yet he developed a round, hard belly that seemed impossible to lose. He tried intermittent fasting, cutting carbs, eating smaller meals, but nothing worked. His nutritionist later discovered that Daniel drank coffee at 4 p.m. every day. Even that small caffeine dose was enough to elevate cortisol into the evening, blocking fat release. When he stopped evening caffeine and began using a calming nighttime drink instead, his sleep changed almost instantly. Over time, so did his belly. This brings us to the second hidden nighttime issue that locks fat onto the waist: evening blood sugar spikes. You don't need diabetes for this to affect you. As the body ages, its insulin sensitivity naturally decreases. This means that even normal meals eaten too late at night can cause glucose to rise higher than it should, staying elevated for longer than it would in a younger person. When blood sugar remains high near bedtime, the body cannot shift into fat-burning mode. It focuses on regulating sugar levels instead. This is why many older adults wake up bloated, swollen, or hungry. They spent the entire night fighting glucose instead of burning stored fat. But the problem goes even deeper. Elevated evening glucose signals the body to produce more insulin. And insulin is a storage hormone. It pulls fat toward the belly and locks it tightly for hours. This is why people say, "I didn't even eat much, but I woke up heavier." They're not waking up heavier, they're waking up hormonally redirected. Their nighttime hormones favored storage over release. Take Elena, a 70-year-old from Madrid. She always had late dinners with her family, 9:30 p.m. or later. She believed eating late was normal and harmless. But as she aged, she noticed her belly growing harder and more uncomfortable. Her doctor explained that late-night dinners kept her glucose high at bedtime, turning her nights into storage mode. When Elena shifted her eating window just slightly and added a calming nighttime drink, she noticed her mornings felt lighter, even though she hadn't changed the foods themselves. And then there is the third nighttime factor, perhaps the one most overlooked of all: liver function. Your liver is the nighttime engine of your metabolism. It detoxifies, it processes fats, it resets your internal systems for the next day. But as people age, the liver becomes more sensitive to inflammation, dehydration, and poor nighttime habits. When the liver struggles during sleep, belly fat becomes extremely stubborn. Not because the liver is damaged, but because it is overworked and undersupported during the hours it needs the most help. A researcher once described it like this: during the night, your liver determines whether your body will store fat or release it. This is why older adults who support their liver in the evening often report less bloating, smoother digestion, fewer nighttime awakenings, and gradual reductions in abdominal tightness. The belly is one of the first places that reflects liver overload. These three nighttime blocks, cortisol, glucose, and liver stress, create the perfect environment for stubborn midsection fat. Green tea cannot fix them. Daytime diets cannot fix them. Morning workouts cannot fix them. Only nighttime support can influence nighttime problems. And this is exactly where the drink we are building toward enters the story. It is not exotic. It is not expensive. It is not harsh. It is not a detox. It does not cleanse the body through force. Instead, it works like a gentle evening switch, helping calm cortisol, support smooth digestion, encourage stable nighttime blood sugar, and create a more peaceful internal environment for the liver. People don't drink it to burn fat while sleeping like a miracle. They drink it to help their body allow fat-burning processes to function normally again. When people hear this, the next question is always the same. So which ingredient does all of this? But before we reveal the drink, you must understand why it works so well for people over 50. Because without this knowledge, you'll treat it like a trend instead of a tool. The real reason this nighttime drink is so effective for older adults is because it targets the exact pathways that age disrupts the most. After 50, cortisol becomes less stable, sleep becomes lighter, the liver becomes more sensitive, insulin becomes slower, digestion becomes weaker, and inflammation becomes more persistent. These are the exact pathways the nighttime drink supports, gently but meaningfully. Once seniors began adding this drink to their nighttime routine, they commonly describe the same experience: waking up with less stomach tightness, feeling less inflamed, having a calmer appetite, and noticing their belly looks less swollen. Not because the drink burned fat, but because it helped restore the nighttime conditions their body needs to use fat efficiently. The drink that so many seniors overlook, yet has quietly become one of the most effective nighttime metabolic supporters after age 50, is warm lemon water mixed with a small amount of cinnamon. Not a detox tea, not a trendy powder, not a harsh cleanse. Just two simple ingredients that, when used at the right time, help support the exact nighttime pathways responsible for stubborn belly fat. Most people hear this and underestimate it immediately. They say, lemon water? Cinnamon? How could that help? But what they don't realize is that warm lemon water is one of the most senior-friendly ways to support the liver during its overnight repair cycle, while cinnamon helps stabilize evening blood sugar, a combination perfectly aligned with the needs of older adults. Warm lemon water, taken 30 to 60 minutes before bed, has a calming effect on the digestive system. It signals the stomach and intestines to slow down gently, reducing the pressure and bloating that keeps so many people uncomfortable at night. More importantly, it gives the liver hydration and citric acids that help support its natural nighttime cleansing process. When the liver feels supported, it is less likely to trigger nighttime cortisol spikes, which are a major driver of belly fat in people over 50. Many seniors describe waking up after drinking lemon water at night feeling lighter, flatter, and less inflamed. Not because it burns fat, but because it helps the body avoid the internal stress that causes fat to accumulate. Then comes cinnamon, the quiet hero of nighttime belly fat support. A small pinch, just a quarter teaspoon, mixed into warm lemon water can help with one of the biggest metabolic problems aging adults face: evening blood sugar fluctuations. Cinnamon has been studied repeatedly for its ability to support insulin sensitivity. When taken at night, it helps the body avoid those glucose peaks that lock fat onto the stomach. Seniors who add cinnamon to their warm lemon water often say they wake up without the heavy, swollen feeling that used to cling to them in the mornings. Their appetite feels calmer. Their sleep feels steadier. And their nighttime digestion becomes more peaceful. This combination works not because it is strong, but because it is gentle, and the nighttime metabolism of older adults responds better to gentle support than aggressive stimulation. Unlike green tea, it contains no caffeine. Unlike fat-burning teas, it doesn't stimulate the heart. It doesn't jolt the liver. It doesn't trigger stress hormones. Instead, it works in harmony with the body's natural overnight rhythm, making it easier for belly fat to become available for release over time. This is why seniors across Europe, Canada, and the US describe this drink not as a quick fix, but as a nightly ritual that slowly transforms the way their body feels in the morning. And now that you understand the drink, the next question is how to use it the right way, because most people prepare it incorrectly and accidentally weaken its benefits. Now that you know the drink, warm lemon water with a small touch of cinnamon, the real transformation begins with how you use it. Most people think a healthy drink works simply because you consume it. But for older adults, especially those over 50 or 60, timing and preparation matter just as much as the ingredients themselves. Your nighttime metabolism behaves differently from your daytime metabolism. Your digestion slows, your hormones shift, your liver begins its overnight cycle. So when you drink this mixture at the right time, you are not forcing your body to burn fat. You are simply creating the conditions that allow your body to do what it already wants to do: rest, balance, and release. The ideal time for this drink is about 30 to 60 minutes before bed. You don't need to chug it or force yourself to drink more than feels natural. A warm cup, slow sips, and a relaxed environment are all your body needs. The warmth itself signals your nervous system to soften. The lemon provides gentle digestive support, and the cinnamon stabilizes the nighttime blood sugar curve that often spikes in older adults without them realizing it. Seniors who follow this routine consistently, not occasionally, not once a week, but nightly, often say they feel a quiet shift in how their evenings unfold. Their stomach feels calmer. Their cravings feel muted. Their body feels soothed instead of restless. One of the biggest mistakes people make is adding too much cinnamon or drinking the mixture with heavy meals. Cinnamon is powerful, but more does not mean better. A small pinch, no more than a quarter teaspoon, is enough to support the metabolic signals without overpowering your digestion. And drinking it immediately after a large dinner slows everything down. The body becomes preoccupied with digestion instead of entering its nighttime repair mode. This is why seniors in Spain, France, and Italy who follow traditional evening habits, lighter meals, warm drinks, slower nights, tend to maintain healthier waistlines even into their 70s and 80s. Another mistake is drinking this mixture too early in the evening. If you drink it at 5 or 6 p.m., you lose the nighttime effect entirely. The goal is not just to support digestion, it is to support the hormonal window that controls belly fat. Cortisol naturally begins its downward slope in the evening. Blood sugar should naturally smooth out. Inflammation should begin fading. When you drink warm lemon water with cinnamon during this window, you are aligning your body with its natural rhythm, not fighting against it. And then there is hydration. Seniors often underestimate how dehydrated they become at night. Even mild dehydration increases cortisol. Even mild dehydration slows digestion. Even mild dehydration keeps belly fat locked because the liver cannot perform its nighttime functions efficiently. This is why a simple warm drink before bed can feel so powerful. It is the hydration, not magic. It is the warmth, not force. It is the calm, not the caffeine. Everything about this drink works gently, and that gentleness is exactly what nighttime metabolism responds to best. Real stories show this more vividly than science ever could. In Dublin, 70-year-old Maura described her nights as chaotic before she started this routine: bloating, restlessness, waking up hungry at 2 a.m. But after a month of nightly warm lemon water with cinnamon, she said her body felt predictable again. She wasn't starving at night. Her sleep steadied. Her mornings felt lighter. She didn't lose inches overnight, but she felt her body cooperating instead of resisting. In Phoenix, 66-year-old Robert said he had tried every tea on the market: green tea, detox blends, herbal mixes, and nothing helped. But the moment he switched to a simple nighttime drink with the right timing, he felt a difference. "It was the first time I woke up without that tight feeling around my waist," he said. His doctor didn't promise him results. No one told him it would burn fat. But he discovered firsthand that the nighttime body responds most to routines that soothe, not stimulate. And now comes the emotional heart of this message. If you are over 50, your belly fat is not your fault. It is not a failure of willpower. It is not a punishment for aging. It is not a sign that your body has given up. Belly fat after 50 is hormonal, digestive, and metabolic, driven by nighttime patterns most people have never been taught to respect. But now you understand them. Now you know why your evenings matter. Now you know how a simple cup can guide your body back into balance. This drink will not replace healthy eating or movement. It will not perform miracles. But it can support your body at the exact time when belly fat is most influenced. While you sleep, when your hormones settle, when your liver repairs, when your body decides whether to store or release.